Alright everybody, welcome to another episode of Raudeza Plays. I'm Raudeza, and if you guys have been following episodes 1 through 3, you'll know where we are in the story. I'll just give you a little bit of a recap. In part 3, it looks like the Spartans for John Locke's unit. Why do I keep saying John Locke? For Locke's Spartan unit, they finally caught up with Master Chief, and they were about to have some kind of I don't know, parlay there, but it didn't really happen. Cortana instantly zaps us to another location, apparently some Forerunner base. I'm not exactly sure what that is, but it is clear to me that Cortana has her own motivation here. I'm not exactly sure what she's doing, but we take up the story in, of course, part 4, when we're now with the Spartan unit for Sierra 117, which is obviously John's... Why do I keep calling... I was going to say John Spartan, which was obviously John 117, or aka Master Chief. So we're on this quest now. We're finally at the location where we're going to seemingly meet up with Cortana, which is really cool. And of course, we're using my favorite weapon, which is the assault rifle, which is really awesome. Now, immediately when you come in here, I mean, just look at how massive this complex is, and it really gives you a sense of scale, which is really cool. And again, the vistas, like when you go into like the flora, the fauna, the stuff, like things that are organic, are really cool, but most impressively are these massive Forerunner kind of superstructures, which are really cool. As you guys know, I hate fucking dogs, okay? And this actual level was filled with these freaking dogs, but whatever, they're not that difficult, so you can really knock them out very easily. It's really kind of just to slow us down. But here's the thing about this, and I don't know what it is with this warden. He's very protective of Cortana. I don't know if he revives or she revives him to protect her, but he's a pain in the ass, and he's kind of a staple. I would equate him to, if you remember playing Resident Evil 3 Nemesis, whether it's the remake or the original, you constantly had this Nemesis figure popping up in Raccoon City. Just, you know, you always had to run away from it. Unfortunately, you can't run away from this warden thing. You have to fight this goddamn thing, and he is a pain in the fucking ass. I'm so tired of fighting this goddamn thing, and I know that at the end of this level, I'm gonna have to fight him again. Quite frankly, if I've been keeping score, I've actually had to fight him 5 times already, if you include Master Chief's unit and of course Locke's unit, which, I mean, for those of you who complain that they're constantly, I guess, recycling bosses, I know this was a big complaint in Elden Ring and various other games. Yeah, this is like recycling a boss on steroids. It seems to me like at the end of every other level, this guy shows up, gives you some pseudo-scientific philosophical aspect on the human race and where we're going, and how we're a bunch of failure and we don't deserve Cortana. It's like an ex-boyfriend at this point, basically telling us that we don't deserve Cortana. He's very protective. And he's also a hard son of a bitch. As I mentioned, this guy's got this big-ass sword, and if you get hit by that thing, it's basically a one-shot. It knocks out your entire Spartan unit, it knocks you out, and if you don't have enough Spartans or no Spartans alive at the time that you get knocked down, forget it, it's like game over. Alright, so here we're actually fighting some of the soldiers, some knights. We're using mostly Promethean weapons, which, you know, I really like the Promethean weapons, particularly the shotgun. Although I will say, for some reason, I just remember in Halo 4 that the Promethean shotgun, or whatever variant of that is, was a lot more weighty. Here, it doesn't feel weighty. I don't know why. Again, this could be psychosomatic, and maybe it's because I hadn't played this in so many years, but it just doesn't feel as weighty. What does this rapid-fire, kind of like Promethean weapon, I don't know what the hell this thing's called, but this one seems to me like it's a lot more effective. And you know what? I like punching, you know how I hate hitting the grunts and pounding them, but I do like punching the Prometheans, because there's something so satisfying about the kind of like dying growl that they make whenever they get taken out. Now, I actually kind of screwed this up a little bit. There was a platform. I thought I was supposed to be moving towards that platform. I didn't realize that it was descending very stupidly. I wasn't watching my footing here, and I actually died and just like fell over, which was kind of dumb on my part. But again, you have to remember, some of these platforms are moving constantly, and also I was in awe at this point. I was just looking at how the draw distance is now beautiful, and whoop, I fell my ass down, and it looks like I'm falling into an LA pit there, which was really stupid on my part. But I learned to like back the fuck up, because I was like, let me just join the rest of the Spartans on the platform whenever, you know, they're rallied. Let me just stay with them when it comes to these certain sections. Oh, by the way, I know that we're not doing this live, but at the time that I was recording this, the drink of choice is a Dr. Pepper. Alright, so I don't want to lose that tradition, even though I'm doing this very odd format. So it is, the drink of choice today is a Dr. Pepper.
Saying my name.
Just so you guys know. And I don't necessarily have a full house, but as you know, I got 2 princesses, and they might be screaming in the background. Whatever. I'm saving this for posterity. Now, one of the cool things about this particular aspect of the level was that it gives you a time to or gives you enough time just to kind of appreciate the game design, the art direction, the sense of grandeur, and the overall design of some of these superstructures, which I have a passion for architecture. And I think what they did here in terms of just the way that they made the superstructures look is really fascinating to me. I think it's really cool, and something that I really appreciated. Now, I am going to tell you this. These fights are not easy. And of course, this is through the power of editing. I was able to edit out some of the times that I died. But I died several times on this. Again, I'm playing on normal, but the difficulty of this, and actually this is something interesting. So the reviews are in on Campaign Evolved. I'm definitely going to be getting that on PS5, just because, you know, I mean, I'll get them for both consoles, but I am going to get a physical disc of the PS5 just because for me it's a novelty to be able, you know, just the idea of playing both Halo and Gears of War on a PS5 is something very unique, and definitely is not going to happen again historically, especially after this, you know, this transition into all digital media, which really sucks. I think there's a momentum there, and hopefully this will not happen, but again, I'm keeping my fingers crossed. I'm cautiously optimistic. But in Combat Evolved, this is something very, very interesting, that there are some complaints about, and this is very bizarre, certain things they changed people really like, other things that made it Halo and the original Halo they kind of changed, and I guess they had to do that to modern audiences. I know that there's this whole debate about wokeism, you know, which is kind of a stupid word at this point. It's kind of nebulous, but I will say this: some of the changes that they made are a little cringy. I'm not gonna lie. I saw some of the cutscenes, and the way that they introduced some of these legendary kind of characters is cringy as hell. I'm like, I don't know. The other thing that I actually made a comment, just not to get too off track, I actually made a comment the other day on somebody's review, and I said, hey, listen, you know, I get it, like, some people are not responding as positively to this new iteration of Combat Evolved. But one of the interesting things that to note is that if you don't like that version, you can also buy the Master Chief Collection, which I'm going to be purchasing very soon. Again, because I want to preserve that media. And the cool thing, I did not realize this, and I kind of have to amend my comment. I can admit when I was wrong. I didn't realize that part of that Master Chief Collection is actually Halo Reach, which is awesome to me. I didn't realize it was part of that collection. Now I'm even more motivated to buy that collection. I hope that, and I'm not sure about this, I'm going to have to do my research, of course, but if ODST is on there, which I highly doubt, but man, I can imagine how awesome that is. So I'm very excited. I get it that people are not responding to the new Halo, you know, as positively as they thought, and they think it was kind of half-assed. I mean, I'm not going to get hyperbolic like some people online, and I get it. They need clicks for their channel. They're saying, oh, they ruined Halo. There are so many versions of Halo. There's the original, if you have the original consoles, 360 versions. Of course, you have the Master Chief Collection. You have this iteration. Nothing gets ruined by those things. If you don't like the new one, then just, you know, get the Master Chief Collection. There is no need to have a controversy whether there's so many more important things going on in the world. This is not a big deal, right? But people want to take it to the extreme. Again, if you don't want this version of it, just don't get it, and you know, be at peace and buy instead of wasting the $49 for the newer version. I think last time I checked on Amazon, it's about $45 for the Master Chief Collection, which is it's pretty much a steal. You're getting like so many games, so I highly recommend that, which is really cool. Now, going back to the game, you know, the level of difficulty in this game is incredible to me. It ramps up. It's not even like, excuse me, too much Dr. Pepper. It's not even, how can I say this? It doesn't level out, right? It gets to a point where it is just incredibly difficult taking on some of these Prometheans some of these enemies. The AI is pretty incredible. I wasn't expecting it in this game. And maybe I'm just kind of spoiled from the original games were a lot easier. Or, you know, I'm getting older, I'm getting in that 5th level, and maybe my hand-eye coordination is slowing down a little bit. But man, I just remember playing these games when I was younger and tearing into them. I would put them in some of the higher difficulties. I don't think I could survive higher difficulties right now. So I am playing on normal mode. But I think it's really cool that, you know, we have so many iterations of Halo at this point. If for nothing else, just to preserve them. Again, like I said, the novelty of having both Gears and some iteration of Halo, maybe not the best version of it on a PS5, is fascinating to me. I'm going to be the first to admit that I've been very judgmental of some of you younger gamers out there. I have to, you know, like I mentioned, I'm a university professor, but I have to remember sometimes that I have been gaming for roughly about, I want to say 40 years now. Again, ever since I was hanging out in the arcades and then the NES and everything in between. And many of you experienced Halo when you guys were like little children, right? Some of you were like in middle school, you weren't even in high school yet. So it is a different experience for you guys, and I have to kind of keep that in mind when you get a little bit more critical or maybe some nitpicky. I mean, no, don't get me wrong, some of it is complete and utter bullshit. But for the most part, I think some of you younger gamers have valid points about some of the criticisms that you may have, and it's still so very fresh in your mind that you know, you go through these paradigm shifts in your life, right? Like the transition between middle school and high school, and then the high school and college, and those are very you know, groundbreaking and very important steps in your life. And I think so much of those milestones in your life are tied to something that you were passionate about, whether or not you were a kid and playing the DS, right, or playing the PSP, the Vita, the original Nintendos, playing the Wii U or the original Wii, etc., etc. So it's funny because to me it seems like, for us, we can say nostalgia and it's going back 40 years. For you guys, you can say nostalgia and it's going back maybe a decade, maybe 10 years, maybe even 5 years, right? Because we are at a different level psychologically and in terms of our maturity. I'm not saying that you're immature in any way, don't get me wrong, but just at a different stage in your life when you're emotionally you're in a different place. So I have to remember that, and I constantly kind of catch myself not trying to be too judgmental when I hear some of these ridiculous nitpicks about video games. But ultimately, the one thing that unites us generationally is that we are all playing these games. Believe it or not, my 2 daughters, right? They love Mega Man. They love the music. They love the movements. They love the design of the Mega Mans, or the Mega Man, I guess, which is really incredible to me. They're already playing things like, and they're very young, but they're already playing things like Minecraft and building things, and I'm so proud of them that they have that dexterity, right? So I think that's pretty cool. So, you know, encourage you know, this next generation of gamers not only to question things but also to give their input. We shouldn't be invalidating any of these opinions. Again, for us that are a little bit older, we have a different perspective. And, you know, every generation, we tend to get a little bit bitter, right? So don't do that, guys. And I'm telling you this from an academic sense. We have to understand that generationally, it is a different experience for some of the younger players than it was for us. We've seen a lot in this industry. We've seen a lot of things come and go, a lot of franchises come and go, some new franchises, game dynamics, definitely graphics, and of course the modality. I couldn't even imagine, even 20 years ago, just having all digital media. At one point, remember, for those of you who are similar in age as me, is Netflix was like actually a delivery game system. They even had a machine, but it was still all physical, right? They would either mail you a copy of the game, or you would go to, what was it, the Redbox, and then just, I mean, it wasn't, I think it was a subsidiary of Netflix, and you would go to the Redbox and you would rent them directly from those machines. Kind of like a can of Coke, like where you would get your Dr. Pepper, right? But, you know, some of the younger generation don't even know what the hell that is, don't know what DSL is. or AOL, you know. So think of those things when we are talking about gamers and stuff like that, and then how young they are. Think of those things. They didn't see those things, right? I always tell my freshman year students when teaching at university is that this is the generation, or you guys are the generation that have never not known the internet, right? They have always known the internet. We talked to them about card catalog systems and going into the library and checking out a book and all that stuff. It's very alien to them. They don't know a time when they didn't have GPS, when they didn't have things like Lyft and Uber Eats and stuff like that. And it's very interesting. Add to that a very substantial part of their life, because of this unprecedented pandemic that we had, unfortunately, and some of the social skills are not there. Imagine, if you will, thinking about it, that 4 years of your life, or 3.5 years of your life, when you were supposed to be in high school, making those connections and doing those things, you weren't able to. You weren't able to do those things, and you had to do them remotely from a computer. How awkward that is. And then coming into a college classroom for the first time, and having to be social in person. I still don't think we know what the psychological ramifications of that are. And I've talked to some of my colleagues at university that have, are starting to do theses on this psychological kind of like hiccup that they had in their development. So it is very interesting. But anyways, that's my academic hat being put on. So I want to talk about this game. Now, in this particular part, man, this was a pain in the ass. I died so many times. So you have turrets, you have knights, and you have snipers that are just taking you out constantly. And as you can see, I think I died a couple times already. I didn't want to completely edit it out because I don't want you to think that I'm such a good player as, the editing will allow me to let you see on screen right now. But the coordination, and it's really funny, the coordination between the knights and the sniper rifles, or the ones that are sniping, is really incredible. I had to be very cautious and be very strategic at this point in order to survive this part of the level, which was pretty awesome. I relied heavily on my Spartans to kind of like tactically take on some of these guys, because they were very difficult, I have to admit. And again, because of the power of the editing, you didn't see how many times I got clusterfucked here.
I'm down.
I've got you.
I'm up.
Got it.
Not gonna lie, you hear in the background where the original Halo games, or the original music from the Halo game, is starting to ramp up to a crescendo, and it got me. It really got me. I mean, there are other parts of this section that are gonna get me personally, just having played all the Halo games. I'm sure if you're a veteran of Halo, this part coming up is definitely going to affect you as well. But the music, I mean, do you guys remember the first time that you popped in the disc for Halo and you just heard the oh? I mean, that is so freaking iconic, right? I mean, it is just freaking beautiful at this point. Now, here we get to almost the end of the level, and here is this warden son of a bitch. And every time I fight this guy, he replicates another version of himself. So I think there was 2 the last time, and then the one previously, there was a 3rd one, and now I think we have 4 of them. So we have to take out 4 of these sons of bitches. Which, guys, I tell you, man, I've seen the videos of people playing Elden Ring and the rage quits, and so many times I wanted to rage quit this part. Look, no lie, this took me about 10 times to finally beat. Look at that. I kept getting my ass kicked constantly, right? And I skipped over like the next 20 minutes of this footage because it was ridiculous at this point. But getting back to some positives, the music, right? And when you hear that, and I think they've, something very visceral about that tome and the tune for Halo. Everybody knows it. Even if you're not a Halo fan and you're not even a gamer, you can recognize what that is. And even if you don't know what it is, you can appreciate how beautiful and haunting that whatever, I didn't do the best rendition of that, but how haunting that melody is for Halo. And then as you get deeper and deeper into it, you understand just how wonderful and how fleshed out this world is. Now, fortunately, I got to a point where I finally beat that son of a bitch. It took for fucking ever, but I finally beat him. Now, here it is, guys. This is the part that really, like, tugged at my heartstrings. Like, every nostalgic fiber in my being really messed me up here, because for me, for you guys, you know, who I play this game, it had been, you know, a couple years removed from actually seeing this AI. For me, it's been 11 years. I have not seen Cortana in 11 years from the original canon of the games, right? So when I saw this, I was like, oh my god, it really did hit me. Okay, I know this sounds stupid. This shouldn't be as emotional as it should be, but it really is. It really got me, this part of it. And thank God she actually saved our asses here, because look at how many more of these sons of bitches just like spawned up. And I was thinking, oh my god, is this gonna be another boss fight? Because I don't want to do this. Like, I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna put the controller down, I'm gonna go get something to eat, maybe get a café con leche. For the café con leche, actually, maybe I'll get a Cuban coffee, because it's the only way. But fortunately, thank God that she intervened and kind of called off her pit bull here, because holy shit, it was too much. And this is it, guys. This is just the moment that really hit me, and I'm gonna shut the hell up right now so you guys can kind of like feel this, right? So
he is the last person I need protection from. Hello, John. It's good to see you.
You've changed.
It was time. I know we have a disagreement, but once you understand my plan...
Your plan is we do as you say.
I'm offering people a chance to be more than they are naturally.
Like Dr. Halsey did for me.
No. That monster forced you. This is a gift.
Listen to yourself. Stand down, Cortana. Come home with us. It's not too late to stop this.
Stop. No, John. This is too important to stop.
yeah, so as you guys can see, this really got my emotional webbles in my throat. It really hit me very hard, just seeing Cortana, especially she pleading with John and John pleading with her to like come back with him. It was very emotional. She has her own motivation. We don't know what that is yet. Obviously we're gonna find out playing the game, but I'm very excited about this, because this was something that I've been waiting for a couple of episodes now. Anyways, thanks for watching, guys. This has been another episode of Raudeza Plays. Things are getting very exciting. We're gonna continue on with Halo 5 Guardians. Thanks for watching, everyone, and I'll see you in the next one.
John.